Okay, guys, we all love the audiophile hobby. I'm an audiophile junkie because it's so cool. But there are a couple of things that are under the radar that I've been meaning to get to that aren't so cool about the hobby. This video is going to address one of them. More importantly, though, a potential solution. Stay tuned. Okay, guys, welcome back to the channel. So far behind, trying to get caught up. Real quick housekeeping. Just got further behind because I visited Joe, who you've seen in prior videos. His system, all the crazy things that he does, do-it-yourself, extensive knowledge of tube amps. I've got an hour-and-a-half presentation he did with the Audiophile Society here in Houston. I got to get that out to you. You're going to really appreciate it, as well as kind of realize that sometimes audiophiles learn and know more than many dealers that sell tube equipment. It'll be kind of fun to get your feedback to see how many dealers have you ever encountered that know more about tube amps than Joe. And some really cool takeaways I'll share with you on that. But that's to come. Still got stuff from YG, still stuff from, I got Edgar's second half of the audio. Tons of stuff. Angela Gilbert Young announcement coming soon. All kinds of fun stuff to get to you. But what I wanted to wrap up was my tour of the music room in Colorado. I've given you some shorts and some previews of that facility. If you've had any exposure to them, most everybody I've talked to has had 100% satisfaction with them. But what I wanted to do, one reason why I wanted to visit them is that they provide a level of service that I don't think a lot of people appreciate. And so this video, if you want to jump ahead, will have the entire walkthrough I did with Nick in their facility, and you'll get a much more appreciation of why there is a markup, and a discount that they have to take. But when you look at all the things that they do and all the value they provide, I think you'll start to realize it's quite a bargain, and it takes out one of the biggest headaches in the hobby right now for people that like to buy and sell. I'm not a flipper myself. I very rarely sell stuff. I have almost no feedback on AudioGone or eBay or anything like that. I don't buy used. Usually I give stuff away, as you've seen on my channel, or sell it to somebody I know. But I know that for a lot of people, they like to enjoy the flipping side of things. They like to try stuff by buying used. But stories I've heard from them, even among well-known flippers or whatever, have been horror stories in terms of, the quality of gear that they get, in terms of it working, being accurately described, the right age, all kinds of things. The horror stories that I get are just amazing. And it's both from the buyer and seller standpoint. To sell it, you got to deal with tire kickers and people that might say that you sold them something defective and it really wasn't, vice versa. It's just a minefield that headaches people don't want to deal with. And unfortunately, there hasn't been a good solution for that other than people like the middlemen, TMR, the music room, who will buy your gear for you, obviously at a bigger discount than the actual market price you might be able to get if you have great relationships. And like in my WhatsApp group, a lot of people get to know each other. They can share for sale specials and all this kind of stuff. That's a great way to get the most value for your money and comfort if you one-to-one know somebody. But the reality is, a lot of people don't have these relationships. They don't have this ability. The music room takes that out of the equation because you get to know them and they have a set relationship with you, albeit at a discount. But what they provide in value, I think once you watch this video, you will appreciate, from testing the gear when they get it in, fixing the gear. Often it needs fixing, either from shipping damage, which they say is about 20% of the repairs they do, or the gear is so old, people may not have used all the inputs, all the features, or may have misrepresented that it wasn't working totally properly, a noise that they thought is fine to deal with. No, they will get it back to factory specs. And one of the takeaways, one thing you watch my facility tours for is probably not fancy video editing or anything like that. In fact, I give you mostly just raw footage. But it's my takeaways and things that I think a lot of people appreciate. And one of the key takeaways, not to spoil it, when you get to the tour, though, is you're going to see in their repair facility just immense amount of gear that they have to repair, but the acumen that they have, the ethics that they have, and going that extra mile. Just one thing I want to point out to you that really impressed me. They were repairing a pair of Ralph Karsten Atmosphere amps. And one thing that I noticed when they were telling me about it is that they called Ralph to get approved a certain capacitor they were going to use to replace a defective one. And because evidently the ones that he used aren't available or whatever. But just going that extra step, guys, don't overlook this. Going that extra step to call Ralph at Atmosphere and get that okayed by him to use this capacitor is a step that many people would not do, especially if they're just looking to flip it. They're not using it for their own purposes. That shows a level of attention, acumen, and ethics that I really was impressed with, and is commensurate with all the other reasons why I wanted to visit the music room. This is the kind of people I want to do business with. And I don't mind if I did have to sell something, giving them a little bit of premium, because their ability to test it, fix it if necessary, and warranty it. And when they have this $30,000 package machine that actually can package stuff without the original factory packaging, but even better sometimes than the original factory packaging, the way it curves and hugs the gear, which that's another problem we're going to talk about in the industry in the not too distant future in a video. But this is one of those things that you really have to watch this video to appreciate what they deliver. And then you may not be so knee-jerk upset with what you get offered versus, you know, what you might be able to get to a third party. And you may be discounting all of the value that they provide in eliminating these headaches. And you as a buyer as well, it might be worth buying it from them. I know if I had to buy used gear, I'd look at what they have first over somebody else's. But again, this isn't a sponsored video. I went there on my own volition. They had invited me out there and wanted me to come out there. And I said I'd be more than happy to if I had the chance, and I had the chance. So no sponsorship at all. I get nothing for anything that they sell or anything like that. But I wanted to give you guys this FYI and more insights into it, because this is a value that takes away a big problem in the industry that we don't talk about. Lots more coming soon, though, guys. Enjoy this, and I'll see you back here soon. Okay, guys, look where I am today. Super excited to visit the music room. This is one of the premier companies for buying used gear, and I'm going to show you how flipping gear is done right. Let's go ahead and take a little tour.
Hey, Jason.
Hey, Nick. This is Nick. Y'all been saving hi-fi since 2010, I see.
Trying our best. So, welcome, though.
Yeah, thank you. I've been excited to see what you guys do. I'm not a flipper. I don't do a lot of used gear, but every time I've had any experience with you guys has been top-notch. And everybody that I associate with that has done that has had nothing but positive things to say about you guys. So I wanted to get a little tour, if you don't mind, while I was in town. And I got a little overview already, and it's super cool. So let's give the rest of my viewers a little walkthrough here.
Yeah, absolutely. So if you come here and visit us, folks, we kind of do appointments for pickups and drop-offs, but you'll come in this kind of modest little front room that we have, and Lauren, who's usually up here, she'll help you all out, and you kind of hang out in here while we grab your gear that you're either picking up or dropping off. We just have a little stereo system up here. It's like all the systems here. It's kind of a hodgepodge of used equipment that we sell and new equipment that we represent. So, but Lauren actually usually just hangs out here and listens to music and helps folks. So that's kind of our core values here that we sort of, there's some kind of puns in there that are sort of, musical related, but
yeah.
Yep. But that actually
no cheesy covers. Yeah. That's good.
Yep.
Great.
This little thing's actually really cool for vinyl folks. I saw this actually, the gentleman who built this at THE actually last year. But if you're a vinyl guy, to be able to just pull this out and then flip through your collection.
That is good.
I got one for myself, so.
That is really cool.
It's a cool little thing. So,
all right.
And a few $100, there it's solid. So.
And even for your lobby area, just the system up here, you've got it well treated. Yep. Even ceiling treatments, which again shows attention to detail. So yeah, great.
Yeah.
But there's even more exciting stuff to come. If you think this is eye candy, just wait.
So as we kind of walk through here, we're sort of going on a backwards voyage of how your equipment that you would trade into us or sell with us would actually come through the process. So I'll kind of take you all through here, and then we'll double back. But sort of the first part of the journey is obviously it arrives up here in our receiving area. These stacks of boxes here are all waiting to be tested here. We have 4 full-time technicians, so the testing process that we kind of stand behind is all happening here. So one thing that we're super proud of is our failure rate on the new equipment that we represent. Actually, warranty failure rate out of box is around 4%. On the used equipment that we sell, it's just under 2. So, you know, of course, it's used gear. Some of it's bespoke, boutique-y stuff. It's hard, but this is a pretty thorough testing process. If anything's discovered here, when we get to the repair facility, we actually go through that. So, David here's, I think these are working on these speakers probably right now. So, but again, it's, you know, whether it's electronics, speakers, turntables, what have you, everything goes through a kind of rigorous testing process here so that we can say there's a 90-day warranty on it, which really with used gear is sort of unheard of, and we're really proud to sort of stand behind that. As each piece gets tested, it kind of flows through here over to our photo area. So every single thing on the website, unless it's a sealed item, you're seeing the actual photos. And when I was in sales here, a common call we'd get was, do you have a photo of the thing that I'm buying? And I said, no, that's the photo. They said, no. Like, so our photos, that's probably one of the things that we take most seriously here, is actually, you know, what you're getting is, you know, what's photographed. And you know, we do the cosmetic conditions and stuff, but, you know, the photos are really designed to sort of highlight any cosmetic flaws or anything like that, so that really we want to under-promise and over-deliver. So when you get what you got from us, it's even better than you initially were expecting. So
that's been the general feedback I've been getting from you guys, and that's unfortunately not the feedback I get from other type flipping individuals or operations. So that's really one thing I want to highlight, this extensive level of photographs and testing. And on top of that, the gear you get, this is super rare.
Infamous.
I mean, a Rockport turntable, people trusting you with this. Yeah.
Yep. So we just got this one. A business contact that I work with is consigning this for one of his clients. And we just got this one we had to do some wiring. We're waiting on parts, but still kind of in the testing process here. But Ben, are we almost ready for this one, or we got some other stuff to do?
Needs just 1 or 2 more little touches. We're getting some replacement parts from Rockport to make sure it's like as good as it can be.
There was only a few of these made in total, so this is an extremely rare piece you're going to have for sale.
Yeah.
And it's a killer piece. So yeah, and I've actually featured a Rockport turntable on my channel. So yeah,
you will see everything here from, you know, a Blue Sound Node to a Rockport turntable and those cat speakers that we were talking about.
Oh yeah, some rare electrostatics.
Yeah.
I'm gonna show people that as well.
And everything in between.
And this sub alone, this JL Audio sub, is about the size of, you know, half the size of a car.
Yeah.
You know, it is huge.
Jamie's got his hands full with it.
So yeah, he's earning his keep today, trying to box that thing up. That's amazing.
So we do large item photos here. So like all the floor standers and stuff that you see happens in here.
Okay.
And then we do smaller items over here in this kind of mini booth. And so Ethan's doing a rail right now, but the smaller stuff, actually, once it gets photographed, it ends up over here, this is so kind of pre-stocking. So what we do to kind of organize and keep things sort of, you know, on track here is, you know, everything here that you see will eventually, the boxes for these items are here. They'll come over here, and then we'll enter them into inventory. So they get weighed. We can then establish what shipping costs. We have a full internal system there that we built out. It's called Flip, kind of, you know, play on words, but, you know, we're flipping gear. So
right, sure.
But everything that we're running through is actually internally in that system. And so this equipment has all kind of been through the entirety of the process. And this cart will I'll take y'all on the little bit of a tour, but this card will end up on our shelves, and this stuff will be on the website within about a day or two. So
That's cool.
once the listing gets built, then this stuff it's kind of stocked, listing's built, and then it ends up on the website. So
There's some really cool stuff coming on the website.
oh yeah,
See.
yep. This Luxman's awesome.
Yeah.
So,
And a legacy DAC 2 from Audio Research. You don't see these people that really like the dip switches back in the day. Yeah, really cool.
yeah, you know, it's so neat because you never know what you're going to see. You know, I mean, what's you know, WLA and Luxman, like these two, you know, more. It's whatever your flavor is. We probably have
You
it here.
guys have had more experience with more pieces of equipment than most dealers for sure,
Yeah.
because you're not relegated to just a few. Even over decades, people change gear, maybe some that they represent, but not to the level of seeing a Rockport and an Audio Research, a DVLA,
Yep.
this wide variety, Rel sub, JL audio sub. It's just nonstop, which you get exposure to.
And like I was telling you in the car on the way over here, I love to show this place off. So I'm so excited that you're here and like people can really get a cool feel of like
Right.
what's happening. So,
Yeah, this is real life stuff. We're not. This is during working hours. People are actually. You have about just under 50 people. Is that right?
correct. Yep.
Okay.
And if you look up here, we've kind of got like a board of, you know,
Okay.
this is 2025 year to date, and then a monthly total will cycle through here. But, you know, just this year so far, 412 items tested, 427. You know, this is testing and photography and stocking. So,
Right.
but it kind of goes through everyone's totals, and we can always see that. And
You don't play my videos on this at all?
sometimes on Mondays.
Okay. All right, let's go ahead and this is like a maze here.
Oh, yeah.
You just got a shipment. This is what's really cool to show people. Your daily shipment from FedEx basically
Yes.
is the entire truck.
Correct. So today was small. I said it's a small shipment today, and the driver, Jason, was here. He said, yeah, only 36. So all of this stuff is waiting to be tested, believe it or not. So if you're one of those folks out there who says, has my gear arrived yet? It's here. It's just, you know, we've got, after the holidays, this is a little bit more of a backlog than normal. Something that folks don't know, this is, for example, we're the back end of PS Audio's trade-in program. So this is a piece that came from that. But, you know, this sort of pile is what came in today. And then as we go here, this is all stuff that's actually come in throughout the past week that is now in line, and it's slowly, as we work our way through things, ends up in the testing bays, photography, stocking, and then eventually this is all waiting to be tested here. Everything, you know, Sony hat player, a Boulder 1160. I mean, there's really kind of everything here that you can.
Yeah, every brands that. This is more than a show. The type of brands that you have here is just incredible.
Yep.
And things that you can't even see anymore, which we're going to see in a minute.
Correct. Yeah. We'll kind of save this, but for later, is we'll when there is a problem in testing, we have a 2,000 square foot repair facility. So this is a really awesome place to come check stuff out. So, you know, a lot of times folks, and it's not their fault. Like something might work great, but maybe a pre-out on a piece is broken, or something maybe something they never used, and that all gets discovered in testing, and it eventually flows through here to one of our kind of full benches. So if something is discovered, Michael here and Alva, Michael's working on a pair of atmospheres right now, but kind of this stuff is all maybe waiting for parts and
even cosmetic damage. I think we were showing the new Daniel Hertz piece.
Yep.
Wonderful sounding piece, but there was some shipping damage.
Yes.
And you guys have to address that as well. And unfortunately, that's a common thing that you guys have to address, because shipping. I think we even have an amp over here that.
Very common. Well,
Yeah.
Let me show you one that's even a little more, even more depressing, because this is just so unfortunate when you see a cool piece like this, and you'll see it. Here's some, but you know, this unfortunately didn't survive the journey here. So
Wow.
now we're waiting on glass for it, but you know, everything you kind of see is this is all going to get repaired, and eventually, once we've kind of put our stamp of approval on it, we'll get it in the chain.
Well, one thing I did want to show is this Coda amp, because manufacturers now have to budget for extreme conditions in shipping.
Yep.
And there was actually a big hoopla of a Tom Evans, I can't recall, some preamp that got damaged. Mendit Mark on YouTube.
I saw that.
Did you watch that? So these pieces under the hood often aren't prepared for the level of shock that they get. And what you were showing me here is that under the hood, again, nice piece, good sounding piece. Even everything looks good, but it was so shocking that the transformer in shipping shipped and actually smashed into some stuff. And that takes so much, force.
Correct.
That you have to budget for, that unfortunately some of these bespoke pieces is something the industry as a whole probably needs to start taking a look at even more.
And another thing I'll mention while we're here, even though we're not necessarily looking at an example of this, is floor standers. So even though you have factory packaging for a lot of your floor standing speakers, and they may not be, meet the requirements of freight shipping in terms of weight and dimensions, most packaging for floor standing shipping speakers is not designed for the rigors of ground shipment. You know, dealers get these pieces, or they come from overseas on a pallet, but when you put a floor stander, we'll say, a 80-pound floor stander, right? That we see a lot of problems with that.
Right?
That packaging, I know freight shipping's kind of a pain, but we're here to walk you through it. But a lot of times we'll insist on freight shipping for several brands of floor standers. And just through the years, we've learned, hey, even though this can go ground, it needs to go freight.
Saving money does not save money in the long run.
Correct. Small Magicos are a great example. Those, they're small enough to go ground, but under no circumstances you want to ship them ground.
No,
So,
too heavy.
correct. Yep.
Too much can go wrong.
We just had, a simple pair of paradigms, his full factory packaging, probably a 60-pound speaker. So, at some point during transit, it fell, the styrofoam broke, and there was pretty serious cosmetic damage to it. It's unfortunate because the guy did everything right. Like, he kept the packaging, but that's something to really, really keep in mind with the shipping aspect of it. We see this all the time. So,
and I don't want it to be lost that you guys have 2,000 square feet dedicated to addressing that.
Yes.
So that you can feel much more comfortable. And that's why I think everybody that I've talked to, without any exception, has had such good experience with you guys, is because you go to this level of testing. You know what'll happen under the hood. You do the metrics. You have all the testing material. You're even repairing stuff that's out of stock, out of production. And I would hire you guys to repair my stuff, but you're so busy with your existing stuff. But who knows down the road if that's an option.
Someday, hopefully someday it is. We do represent a few manufacturers, back-end repair programs and things like that. But we're not specifically right now taking pieces of gear, but you can kind of, you can see why just because of the amount of stuff that we're doing. I mean, Michael, what would you say percentage-wise damage is shipping?
In the shop here?
Yeah.
20%?
Yeah. So the other 80% is just stuff where people maybe didn't know there was something wrong with it, or
just old.
Sometimes we run into things where people don't use a particular input on an amp, and they used it for years, and then when we get the amplifier, we find that there's a damaged input, and we have to repair that, but they never used it, so they didn't know.
Right.
Sometimes there's shipping damage. There are two different kinds of shipping damage. One is the handling from FedEx, UPS, whomever, and the other is improperly packing.
Yep.
So I know that we have a whole series of units, like Macintosh units. We will reach out to the customer and make sure that they have what they need to be able to pack it correctly. Every Macintosh manual has the instructions for packing in the back of the box. In the back of the manual.
Yeah.
So we'll reach out and make sure that tube units like these.
Yeah.
Make sure the tubes are all removed.
Yeah.
Some units with small 9-pin Noble sockets, we can leave those tubes in an amp when it comes in, or preamp when it comes in, as long as they're inside and encased. Any tubes that are open like this, we're going to make sure that the customer knows to pull those, how to pack them properly. Turntables is another one.
Yeah.
Turntables could always be,
We actually don't, unfortunately, we love your business, but if you don't have factory packaging for your turntable, we won't accept it.
Right.
So
That's true, although we oftentimes would help the customer get the factory packaging if it's
Right. Call the
Correct.
manufacturer.
yep.
Well, I think it's important to note that, obviously you guys have to make a profit, and sometimes people will choose the cheaper route of buying direct from a customer. But having this level of extra testing, packaging, and the warranty, for me, you're already saving money because you're not paying full retail. It's worth it to pay a little bit extra for the comfort that you're giving. Because this costs a lot of money to do, test. And you were just showing me, Atmosphere is a great piece. Ralph does a great job, but everything's point-to-point wired. So when you're trying to figure out a noise issue or something, it's a much more complex thing to find in this, what you have to fix. And this takes a lot of time and effort, and having the acumen to fix all this gear, the time and cost, it's well worth it, I think, for my taste, if I'm ever buying used gear, to buy it with this extra level of attention. And especially for stuff that's out of production that you guys also service and test. That's a big minefield for people thinking it's going to be as good as it was in the Stereophile 2001. No, not any, not any, the caps may be bad. It's not to spec.
It's also helpful for you selling the gear because all the effort you just described in terms of things that need to happen for a unit to come to you safely when you buy it, the same is true of somebody who sells a unit.
Right.
They don't have to go through any of that. They just ship it to us, and then we go through this whole process. We're going to identify any problems, and then when we sell the unit, we give it a warranty. So even if it's a consignment item that you're sending in, you're still protected.
Oh, is that right? Consignment. Okay.
We do all that work.
That's huge. Yeah.
The other cool thing about consignment too is, you're as a consigner, and consignment is actually about 40% of our business. A lot of folks choose to do it. You're protected as a consigner. Our warranty, once we ship a product, we believe in our warranty, you're paid as a consigner. So if it does get returned, either under our 30-day no questions asked return policy, or if we miss something, if something happens in shipping, we actually own the item. So the consigners aren't waiting for payouts based on the warranty and things like that.
That's good to know.
Correct. It's in consignment, for those folks that are looking to kind of recoup as much as possible, consignment's the way to go. I always make sure not to call this stuff an investment, and we all know, it's not an investment, but it is. It's more of an investment in your kind of leisure. I look at it as I can come home at the end of the day and listen to my stereo, and that's
Investment
really,
in enjoyment.
correct.
Yeah.
Exactly. So.
Yeah, a lot of our pieces in our hobby don't retain their retail value, especially if you get into the mega dollars.
Yep.
You're not going to save, you're not going to have like a Rolex or something, that kind of level of retaining value. But if you are going to purchase, you can get good deals on some legacy stuff and have still virtually, they came out the manufacturer, at least a 90-day warranty and a little more than just taking a risk. So this is very good, and also for the seller too. So
Thank you, Michael.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Michael.
Yeah.
We got to show some of this rare gear that you've got back here.
Yeah. Bob too is our first ever.
Oh yeah, let's show Bob. Tell the story about Bob.
Bob was the owner here. Joshua Jackson, who started this company. Bob was one of the first things he ever acquired, and Bob's been with us ever since. When Bob's working, he lights up. Fog comes out of them, and
oh really?
Yeah. So, but Bob's a relic, and he'll be with us forever.
Okay,
so,
Bob's cool.
Yeah.
I see avant-gardes here. And this was, electrostatics are something I'm focused on right now and have been all the past year or so. These are very rare. I never see these. It's King Sound electrostatics. Unfortunately, the company is no longer in business. But yeah, this just shows you the breadth of the type of gear they get. There's just every brand from every decade and every type of magnepans.
Yep.
Electronics.
Some cool vac stuff over there.
Yeah, really cool vac. Turntables.
Yep, and it's we've got, this is kind of our we've got parts, but this is tubes for just about everything you can imagine. So
yeah,
there's
I know that's not the focus of today, but you guys actually represent you sell new gear too and represent certain brands.
Yeah.
We could talk about that later, but yeah, the focus is on your resale stuff, but you guys really have so much experience that is kind of mind-boggling.
Yeah.
If this is a dream job for people that want audio gear exposure to everything, because this is something you never see. We can't really see it good. It's on your website.
It is. Yeah.
It's the cat.
Those are the cat sequoias. And we recently brought those in. We're super excited about them. It comes with 4 of their, completely separate dual mono power amplifiers and the DSP unit. But that's an absolute for if you've got a kind of a grand salon area or something, I'm bummed that I missed when we were testing these because I didn't get to hear them, but apparently it's just an experience in terms of, just breadth of sound. And
they're taller than me by several feet, so these things are just immense.
They're about 800 pounds a piece.
Wow. And they come with the amps and DSP.
And the DSP. Cat does a lot of custom stuff, right? So, but originally I think retail was somewhere with the amps and everything of $450,000 range. So,
wow.
But they can be yours for the low price of $149 right now.
$149.
So what a bargain. There's some really neat stuff here. So
some Estalon 4. I see the flight cases because that's a signature of, I know, Estalon.
Those are a pair of Forzas that we have.
Okay.
A good customer of ours actually purchased those and wasn't able to use them in his home. So they came to us with...
Unused.
Yeah.
So if somebody wants a good deal on Forzas unused...
I believe that they were... So from your friends at 3MA, I think they were a demo pair initially. And then...
Oh, okay.
Then they came to... He never took them out of the crate.
Oh, really?
So...
Okay.
They're here with us. So...
Okay. Are those on the website yet?
They're on the website. Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. But as we this is all used stock. So if you remember back in the other area where we were looking at sort of, everything that was ready to come over here after it had been photographed, everything in here is ready to be grabbed and brought into shipping. So we all have, internal SKUs for everything. That's got weights and dimensions, and everything on the website is all already done internally in our system. So when someone purchases this 740p, we can come in here the next morning, take it right off the shelf, and it comes right through here. I mean, the inventory area we're actually running out of. So it's a good problem to have. But as you kind of go down these shelves, and you look at boxes, I never get tired of this. It's super cool.
Just every brand imaginable, really.
It's gotten so full that this is actually, kind of the heroes of the warehouse that do all the stocking and the production and the photos. And this is so they know where floor standers will fit. Because they can come here and see, D16 short will fit there, But that's how much... We're running out of room, so...
Yeah. Well, you got...
Yeah. That's a cool pair of mod rights. Those
mod
are...
rights,
I believe... I don't know enough about them. The buyer who brought them in knows. I think that they're totally unique, one of one. I don't want to say that because someone's gonna.
Right.
But they're beautiful pieces. You can see those on the website.
The crating alone is a little higher end than normal.
Yep.
Almost a tiki, but yeah. And what do we have back here?
So this is all shipping and kind of getting towards the end of the day. We've already had our first pickup. We've had our first pickup. So. There's new inventory here mostly. So someone just bought these 212SXs from us. Again, we said we're a rail dealer. So those are waiting to go out. They're waiting on a trade-in. So the gentleman's sending us something that he's traded in. So we have them here ready to go out to him once his trade's clear.
Okay.
But so this is all new inventory. Magnapan and Ineos and Hi-Fi Rose and Yamaha and, Harbeth, and there's several brands that we represent.
That's amazing.
So this is shipping. We have 3 bays. It's actually quieter than here in normal. So those items there are what we've kind of got since the first pickup. We'll have another one later this afternoon. These items here are yet to be packaged, so we double box everything.
You even create molds if you don't have the original packaging. Maybe we could show that at some point.
Yeah.
I haven't seen that myself, but I want to let people know, and as well as when you sell stuff, if people are trading stuff in or sending you to sell, you can send them boxes too.
We can. So we can create custom molds for you to make things easier. Again, it goes back to reducing that shipping damage or get you packaging from a manufacturer.
Okay.
So sometimes there's a long wait for that. So, you know, we do have the Instapack machine here. I'll have to remind Eric we can maybe get a separate video of that.
Okay, see it in action, yeah.
Basically, it mixes two chemicals together that are in a liquid form, and then there's a thermal reaction, and those actually form into
A mold?
a mold.
Yeah.
Correct. And so you kind of have some plastic down, you spray
Wow.
it in. As it forms in real, over seconds. You place the piece in, and then it will form to it, and then you do the same thing for the reverse for the top. It's
wow.
It's bomb-proof. I don't want to. Nothing's bomb-proof in shipping, but it's in most cases it's better than original factory packaging
Because there's no gaps and there's
no
no
gaps.
Yeah. It's not like popcorn kernels or anything.
No.
Yeah.
No, those don't work either.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
Peanuts don't work.
Old newspaper.
Yep.
And, yeah.
But we tell people when they get a package from us, so even though it says no factory packaging, it's going to get to you safely. We keep that packaging that you get from us, the Instapack, because
Okay.
it's in the future. It'll
Very
go a long
important.
ways. So,
Okay.
but yeah, this is kind of the end of the life cycle. So, someone's purchased these, and happy people. These are gonna be going out later this afternoon. We usually send out a few pallets a day too. So, but these will be on their way out of the warehouse and off to someone happy listener somewhere. So.
Well, speaking of listening, you have a listening room upstairs. Let's go take a look at that. I was very impressed. You have that one in the front, but that's just a small one. You have a very extensive, two of them actually upstairs.
Two of them, yeah.
Yeah, where you can actually test gear in a room environment that's treated. And yeah, you had some cool pieces up there. So let's take a look.
Yeah, so we built this. This area of the building was actually added on.
Okay. Yeah, you can kind of tell. Yeah.
And then we kind of purpose built these listening rooms. And we do events here, which we love having you guys out for those. If you're in Colorado area, Front Range, anywhere, we do events with manufacturers. We're going to start doing internal events too, where it's just us and customers. So
Cool.
we're really excited about that. But this is our first listening room. And again, much like the front room, I'll make sure we turn off the tune so we don't get a copyright strike here for you.
A showcase. Yeah, you were telling me y'all had a good experience with the Via Blues.
We love it. Yep. Yep.
And then Tambique.
Yep. Tambaki. And then we're Mola Mola dealers.
Okay, yeah, really nice stuff.
So this stuff on the back wall that's kind of static, we'll move it in and out.
Gotcha.
This is the Soul Note
Soul
streamer.
Note, really cool looking. Yeah.
I have their A3 at home. It's a phenomenal integrated for me. I'm a big Soul Note guy.
Joe was. This is cool
Yep.
stuff. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. And then your system here is basically a hodgepodge of gear that you're testing or used gear and
Yep.
stuff.
Used and new. It's we've got the Levinson turntable and the Modrite phono stage. Mostly though, we're doing digital in here, so we're render dealers. We've got an N20
Okay.
Soul Note D3, which is their top of the line DAC, and X3 is the clock that you have to have with it.
Okay.
So Nagra preamp, which is just an awesome piece to have in here. So that's a used piece. So we kind of got
Oh, really?
new gear,
Okay.
used gear. Right now we're kind of testing all this Claris stuff. So at the moment we've got pretty much whole Claris loom in here.
Gotcha.
So, Rel Carbon Specials. We're a dealer for Rel. Beautiful Wilson Sabrina X's that are probably on the website right now.
Okay. Yeah, it's a beautiful finish.
Yes.
If that colors your taste, the finish is really impeccable.
Yep.
I mean, it's got a little bit of a, glitterish sense, but not overdone. It's really nice.
Yep. And again, we're not Wilson dealers, obviously, but another used piece that we can have up here. This is actually really cool. One of the earlier
Yes.
D'Agostino amplifiers.
That's cool.
And you know what? That front end with that preamp and this amplifier, it's a cool experience in here with the Wilsons. So
And this is a very special piece. I heard the backstory behind this.
yeah.
And this is going to be on the website, if not soon or already.
We've got to photograph them still, but so these were from a longtime representative of Macintosh, and these are actually unique one-of-ones. You'll notice the 60th anniversary golds, which they only made very few of. These were actually made 5 years after that initial production run for this representative. The serial number is actually his initials, and then the year of his birth. So these were given to him for his 25th anniversary with Macintosh.
Right.
You know, they are unique as can be. They come with this 60th anniversary C22 as well. We're very excited to have these. It's, you know, kind of, you know, it's a piece of Macintosh history.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
and they'll be up for sale. And, you know, putting a value on these is difficult.
Yes.
So, you know, there was obviously a retail price when this set was originally available. The neat thing is these have next to no hours on them. So he actually had these in a display case in his office.
Okay.
So, and they've gone through the whole testing process. But as kind of a static display up here, they look pretty neat. Now, once we get them photographed and stocked, then they'll end up on the website for sale.
Gotcha.
So, you know,
Really cool.
as you kind of come through here, the whole room's treated. We had this custom
Yes.
diffuser
Even
made.
ceilings. Yeah.
Yeah, we're a Vicoustic dealer, so you see some Vicoustics.
Yep.
We also made some of this stuff too.
Okay.
So, you know, stuff that we couldn't really, you know, the corner traps and those things we made ourselves, and kind of did some unique treatment here with the windows.
Yeah.
So there's an internal debate. What sounds better? Curtains open, curtains closed.
Okay.
I'm a curtains open guy.
Okay. Might also depend on the speakers you're using at the time.
Absolutely. it does.
Dipoles, maybe.
Yep. Having that flexibility is cool in here. So
Yep.
because this system changes all the time, you know, for the most part, we kind of know, you know, you'll see some tape here on the ground where we've had other speakers in the past.
Yeah.
But, you know, getting this room dialed in, the dimensions are as they should be. No, it's, I wouldn't say completely ground up built, but, you know, we put a lot of thought into this room. And you can hear when I'm sure you can hear on the video when we're talking in here, even with the doors
Right.
open.
No.
As we come in here, this is actually my office, as well as kind of another kind of lifestyle room. So
Yes, this was really cool.
you'll hear immediately the difference. This room's
Yep.
much livelier,
Yep, much livelier.
much more like your home,
Yeah.
really, you know. But it's a pretty cool office. So I'm so grateful I get to work in here. And, you know, we've got another stereo system here. We've got some Diptyques, which we represent, and then Luxman, which is a used piece. Inuos and Nordost, and, you know, this system changes too, kind of, not with the wind, but pretty frequently. So.
And I want to showcase to people one of your best room treatments, although these are all cool, is a bookshelf.
Yes.
And what's really cool is you've got, like, I keep some of my old stereo files that used to be in this form.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it would be interesting if anybody has a chance to read stereo file from back in this era and the type of reviews they gave
Yep.
back then versus now. It's shocking. And it's also shocking to see what used to be the way when we didn't have internet. There was like nonstop classified ads in the back for different dealers, some of which these dealers are still in business today. But I remember going through these magazines and each of these ads. It really gives you a little blast from the past, especially if you're new to the hobby, learning about some of the history and some of the gear that, quite frankly, the only place to get some of this gear that was recommended back then is through you guys, because people you know, trust you guys to test it, consign it, and like the King Sound and some of the other ones we featured. So this is a really, just this alone gets major brownie points for me, because this shows a dedication to the industry, the hobby, learning stuff, and understanding this is a great room treatment.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Tracking angle, absolute sound, stereo file. I tell you what, I'll send you like maybe 10 magazines, and if you've got any subscribers that want to grab some, or maybe some of the people on your
WhatsApp group or something.
if they want to, you know, I'll send you 10 of them, and then you can send
That's
those out
generous.
to folks
Yeah,
that
thank
want
you.
them.
Yeah, I think it's really important that we revisit the past and see how far the industry has come and get an appreciation, because there were some things done back then, such as reviews, that you could argue were better back in the day.
Yeah.
So yeah, this is great.
It's a cool little thing for us. We're lucky to have it. We actually got it from a customer. So,
Really? Okay.
Yeah. He kind of donated it to us. A wonderful gesture. And then we kind of add our own stuff to it too.
Yeah.
So,
Well, it shows again. Obviously, everybody's in this business to make money. That's part of the deal. But showing that it's more than just making money. It's about the music. It's about the hobby. It's about giving people an experience that they enjoy. You're the type of company I like to promote because everything that I'd heard before, my personal experiences, this is the type of company I would want to deal with. I don't do a lot of used buying. I don't do any selling.
Yeah.
So it's not like I'm a big customer of yours. We never even met before this.
Yep.
You're not paying me to do this or
Nope.
anything. But this is the kind of company I like to focus on. And I appreciate you taking the time today to show me around, and definitely even more impressed than I even thought I was going to be. So thanks again.
No, I'm thrilled that you came out here to see us, and thanks to you and everybody watching. If you have any questions, we've got full-time hi-fi guides that are, ready to chat with you all about anything. But again, just so appreciative of you coming out here. Like I said earlier in the video, I love showing this place off, and I'm as passionate about this career and this job as I could be about anything else in my life. So I really appreciate you coming out. And
I also want to jump in and introduce Derek real quick, who's been following around. He's in charge of the social media for you guys.
Yep.
And you do have a little bit of a YouTube presence, is that right?
Yep, we have a little bit of YouTube presence. It's just the Music Room, TMR Audio on YouTube. You can go check it out.
Okay.
We've got some cool stuff on there, cool product reviews. We have an amp shootout between Magnapans too. So there's all kinds of cool stuff, and we plan on vamping that up here soon as well.
Okay, cool. Yeah, he's got better equipment than me, so check out his stuff. So yeah, great meeting you guys again. I hope everybody enjoyed.
thanks, Jason.